San Antonio starts right now.
A deadly night on the roads after a woman was killed while crossing a dark street overnight. We have the details just ahead.
And the race to get people vaccinated for COVID-19 is running into major hurdles.
And taking a live look out of the Alamo City, 37 degrees to start your Monday morning. Some of you guys actually saw snow yesterday. We're going to check in with Mike in just a few moments. Good morning. It is Monday, January 11th. A couple of school schedule changes for schools this morning.
That's right. Blanco ISD will delay the start of school until 10 a.m. And Dawes Consolidated Common School District is canceling classes today. So let's check in with Mike Osterhage to see how the rest of the day will turn out.
Cold. It's going to be, it's going to stay very cold, although it will be warmer than yesterday. But I do have to point out, though, in memory of all the snow that we got and what a lot of people did, Stephanie's earrings are the snowman earrings this morning. So, a lot of folks, basically it was in the northern portion of our viewing area, well up to the north. But there were a lot of reports of some snowflakes and some sleet here in town. And got, from Seguin over toward in town on the north side and even around New Braunfels. Now, this morning I did get a little bit of mist on my windshield coming into work. And if you look real closely, there was just one little patch of some moisture kind of coming on through here, and that's moving on out, and that's pretty much it. And as far as temperatures right now, it is right at freezing around Bernie Stage, just above freezing, kind of close to it, so maybe freezing in your backyard. A couple of slick spots on the street, maybe from some of the moisture yesterday if it didn't get a chance to evaporate as of yet. So just be on the lookout for that, but we're not going to be seeing more widespread moisture this morning. And there is a little bit of a wind chill, 20s in the hill country, 31 here in town, 29 at Randolph. So bundle up and stay bundled up all day long. Mountain Cedar went down a whole bunch from where it was peaking last week, 20,000 or something like that. It is on the high side at 710. Mold is moderate. And this morning temperatures may drop down a couple of degrees. We do have cloud cover. It's going to act like a little bit of a blanket. Some mist scattered here and there, just a couple of damp spots on the roads. That'll be about it. And then we'll slowly start to see some sunshine later on this afternoon. Only 45 degrees, not much above the normal low temperature. It is going to be staying on the, excuse me, tickle in my throat. Staying on the cool side this week. We'll talk about that. And right now with all your traffic report, here's Samuel King. Quick, start talking.
Good morning, Mike. Hey, good morning, everyone. Things looking pretty good right now. A lot of green on the screen there. We have this wrapping up in just a little bit at this construction on 281 between 1604 and Stone Oak and TPC Parkway. They're doing some alternating lane closures there, so that's something to watch out for. Coming in from Boulevardier on 281 right now is 30 minutes into downtown San Antonio, 30 minutes on I-10 from Seguin, 25 minutes from Bernie on I-10. And taking a look at TransGuide, 10 at 151, 410 at 151. That looks good, as does 1604 this morning. Guys, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. New this morning, a woman was killed last night after police say she was trying to cross the street on the city's north side. This happened around 10:30 last night at the intersection of West Avenue and Trudell, just south of Loop 410. Investigators say the woman in her 60s was crossing a dark part of that road when she was hit by a person driving a pickup truck. Police say the driver of that pickup truck did stop and did not see the woman until it was too late and is not facing any charges. The woman was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not identified her.
Well, it is the highest number of COVID-19 cases Bexar County has seen in a single day. Sarah Costa joins us live this morning to break down the numbers. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Max. And as we see those numbers go up and the vaccine being slowly distributed across the country and Texas, now here at home, Bexar County, like you said, reporting the highest number of COVID-19 cases in a single day at 3,002 new cases yesterday. Over the last 7 days, Bexar County has seen nearly 12,000 new cases. The 7-day moving average is now 1,694. 31 people died this past week, and with 55 backlog deaths, the death toll sits at 1,648 people that have died from COVID-19. As for the hospitalization rate, 1,407 people remain in the hospital. That's up 8 since the previous report. Now, 2 hours south of here in Nueces County, doctors there are reporting that new variant of COVID-19 that originated in Europe and the UK. According to the Corpus Christi Caller-Times, a Corpus Christi man traveled to the UK recently for a family emergency, and when he returned, he was diagnosed with that COVID-19 variant. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News. Max and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. Meanwhile, 374,000 Americans have now died because of COVID.
And the race to get people vaccinated is running into major hurdles. ABC's Megan Tevrizian has the details.
This morning, millions of COVID vaccine doses are going unused, left sitting on shelves, some even being thrown away. The CDC says of the 22 million distributed so far, fewer than 7 million shots have been administered.
A lot of counties are having a hard time just getting vaccines into arms, and I think what we're finding is if you spend too much time worrying about tiering, it becomes a problem. If you don't have enough demand in your tier A, then you go to tier B, then you go to tier C, and you just got to get those vaccines into arms now.
President-elect Biden, hoping to accelerate the process when he's sworn in, says he'll release nearly all available vaccine doses instead of saving some for second shots.
We're in the middle of a horrible surge. That variant that was mentioned is probably in every state or most states in the country. We've got to get people vaccinated quickly.
New York City opening 5 so-called mega sites, open 24/7. But on day one Sunday, turnout was lower than expected.
We have 40 people scheduled, but so far I've given 10.
Beginning today, first responders in Massachusetts get the vaccine. In Michigan, first responders, teachers, and people 65 and older will now qualify. In Texas, officials in San Antonio opening a clinic where 9,000 available slots were booked in just 6 minutes. In Florida, state officials now using churches to vaccinate seniors. It comes as COVID cases soar nationwide. 1 in 15 Americans has now tested positive. Hospitals in Los Angeles, the current epicenter of the crisis, are overwhelmed, and they have yet to see the full surge in cases from holiday gatherings.
I've been here 21 years, and I've seen more people pass away in the past week, in the past couple weeks, really, than I almost like it combined in all of my career as a nurse.
And COVID continues to impact the sports world. The NBA had to postpone the Celtics Heat game Sunday as both teams deal with the virus. Megan Tevrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
Time now is 4:37, 37 degrees out.
And still ahead on GMSA, how patients are reacting to the challenges of trying to get a COVID-19 vaccine.
And next, we are talking Spurs. Not ideal, a back-to-back without DeMar. We're going to have the highlights and some of the lowlights against last night's matchup.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, it's still cold out there. It's 37 degrees. Bundle up definitely. And yeah, it's going to be cold pretty much all day. We're going to check in with Mike later. And welcome back. It's 4:40 in Washington. House Democrats are pushing to remove President Donald Trump from office. As early as this morning, they will introduce a resolution that would call on Vice President Mike Pence and the president's cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment. That would force President Donald Trump from office and make Pence the 46th president of the U.S. If the resolution doesn't pass by unanimous consent, then the measure would be brought to the floor for a full vote tomorrow. To invoke the 25th Amendment, Pence would need a majority of the cabinet to agree President Trump is unfit for office. Trump could dispute their move, and Pence and the cabinet would have 4 days to dispute him. To remove him from office, Congress would need a 2/3 supermajority vote.
And remember, Donald Trump only has 9 days left in office. Meanwhile, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is asking Democrats for their input on possibly using part of the 14th Amendment. So under the United States Constitution, it allows representatives to remove other members of Congress if they violated their oath by engaging in, quote, insurrection or rebellions or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. Representative Cori Bush tweeted that she plans to introduce a resolution today to, quote, expel members of Congress for violating that amendment. She went on to say, quote, we can't truly have unity without accountability, end quote.
White House officials say President Donald Trump will visit the border wall in Alamo, Texas, near McAllen tomorrow. The White House says that they will want to mark the completion of a portion of it. The trip is the only item on President Donald Trump's official calendar for this coming week. But he does appear poised to release a list of pardons, issue executive orders, and give out a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
All right, it has been a busy weekend for Spurs fans. San Antonio Spurs finishing up a back-to-back in Minnesota, silver and black facing the Timberwolves for the second night in a row, and they were shorthanded. DeMar DeRozan who's actually just set his career high in a Spurs uniform. He had 39 on Saturday against the Timberwolves. Well, he was out for last night's game, listed for personal reasons. So let's take a look at the highlights. Spurs would actually lead 49-44 at halftime. Later in the second half, though, the score was tied at 81. As you can see, though, Timberwolves took a lead. They had 5 straight points. They didn't let up, so the Timberwolves snapped a 7-game losing streak. They cruised in the end to a 96-88 win over the Spurs. Point of optimism, though, Lonnie Walker picked up the scoring slack with DeMar out. Lonnie had 25 points to lead the Spurs in scoring. He paced the offense in the first half, 17 points, 8 of 14 shooting. And LaMarcus Aldridge, remember, he had come back from injury just 2 games ago. He had 20 points for the Spurs. And Patty Mills off the bench, another 18. Don't worry, if you missed the Spurs. They're playing in Oklahoma City. Final game of the 5-game road trip. San Antonio right now, technically, if we want to look, I'm only 10 games in. They are in the playoffs if it were to start tomorrow, but we still have 62 games left. So, well, we'll take it day by day.
Yeah, but they're off to a good start.
Off to a good start, and Oklahoma City, not that great. They have a good record, but I'm just saying, point of optimism. And hopefully DeMar is back.
Don't jinx us.
I would never do such a thing. 4:43, 37 degrees out.
And next, a first look at how the COVID-19 vaccine is being distributed across the country. This morning, the race to get people vaccinated for COVID is running into major hurdles. ABC's Victor Okendo has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, vaccination frustration. Phyllis Humphreys from Leesburg, Florida, describes the challenges of receiving a COVID-19 vaccine after multiple attempts of trying to secure an appointment or showing up on a first-come, first-served basis. She was still turned away at the door.
They absolutely turned us away. They said, no, you cannot. We're not doing any. We don't hardly have enough vaccines for the people who have appointments.
But at other sites in Florida, some progress. 500 seniors vaccinated at a church in Tampa on Sunday without any hiccups.
It's nothing to it. As crucial as things are today with this virus, I advise everybody to get this shot.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have coast-to-coast coverage on the race to vaccinate, plus a live look at the long lines here in Florida. With your GMA First Look, I'm Victor Okendo, ABC News, Miami.
All right, well, back here at home, yesterday some people saw some snow. You want to show off the earrings?
Oh, yeah, my little snowman earrings. This is more snow than I saw. I saw like flurries, but didn't get to build a snowman.
There you go. The point is, though, hopefully, if there did snow in your area, that's off the roads for right now.
Yeah, things look good so far, but up in the Austin area especially, they had a lot of wrecks and stuff yesterday with the snow they had up there. But here, things so far looking good. Let's look at I-10 now between Bernie and downtown, 25-26 minutes each way, and then inside 1604, about 14 minutes between downtown and 1604. So Bernie and 1604, and that's looking pretty good. We mentioned this on Friday that gas prices were about to be $2 a gallon on average in the state of Texas. And that has happened the first time since last March. That was the longest stretch since 2005. But here in Bexar County, they're still about $1.90, still below the national average. Some parts of our area, like Kendall County and Bandera County, those prices are still at $2 a gallon, or actually at $2 a gallon. So watch out for that. And then I-10 at Woodlawn on TransGuide looking fine this morning, folks.
Good on the roads, and a nice picture there. I mean, yeah. I didn't see that kind of scenery in my area.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, now a lot of folks in northern Bexar County did see some snow mixed in with some of the wet sleet and the chunky rains I like to call it. But this was up in New Braunfels, and yeah, there was a nice dusting. Obviously, like Sam was just talking about, further north, there was a whole lot more snow, and well, it's okay. when you get some of that sleet mixed in with some of the rain,
gotcha.
It's like, well, is that freezing, or is it just like little?
You don't want to give the rain image
ice
issues.
Yeah. So are you fat shaming the rain?
Wow. Are you here all week?
Yes, unfortunately.
Anyway, a lot of folks sent in a ton of KSAT Connect pictures, and we love that. So thank you very much. We're going to be showing them all morning long. So yeah, it was beautiful. If you got a little bit of that snow yesterday, and some of the kids just loved it, obviously, as did the adults. And right now we do have a lot of clouds out there. I saw just a couple of specks of mist. And as far as snow totals, though, first of all, up around Canyon Lake, they've reported about a half an inch. And these are just some of the reports that came in from the National National Weather Service. I know there were some other folks that saw some snow burning about an inch, and then north of Austin, I mean, like Sam was talking about, 4.5 inches there, 6 inches further up north on 35. Rain, a lot of folks picked up a nice amount of rain. We picked up 8,300s out there at the airport, about 1.25 inches up around New Braunfels, Gonzales, 3/4 of an inch, and about 1/3 or more than that in Hondo. So that was fantastic. And like I said, saw a little bit of some just some mist on the windshield this morning, that little batch that kind of slid on through here. That's the exception rather than the rule. So there still could be, though, a few damp spots on the roads from yesterday, because we really haven't had, with the cloud cover around here and the higher relative humidity, a chance to dry out all that much. Got some moisture aloft in the atmosphere, which is going to help to keep a few clouds around. A lot of clouds this morning, and then I think we will start to see some sunshine as the day does roll on. And there you can see all these low clouds on the satellite picture right now. And there's the storm system working its way off to the east and hitting in the Mid-South and the Tennessee Valley. And then the rest of the week is upstream right there. That is what is in store. Just some beautiful weather. It is going to be staying on the cold side. And as a matter of fact, tonight we're not going to have a blanket on top of us like we've had overnight. So it is going to be even colder. 40 today at noon, still not, or just barely, pardon me, up to the normal low temperature at noon with mostly cloudy skies. Then we are going to start to see a little bit more in the way of some sunshine later on this afternoon and continue to clear out then tonight. 45 for high temperature. That's it today. So it is going to be cold, and then tomorrow we get down to 28 degrees. Freezing temperatures all around the area tomorrow, and a good hard freeze in a lot of places, especially hill country. And like I said, that's 28 here in town. Freezing Wednesday morning. We'll see a lot of sunshine this week. Thursday is when we peak at 67 degrees, actually the only day, well, other than Saturday, on the above normal side. And we got another front moving through here Friday. It's going to come through dry, and then the front on Sunday, a little bit of rain associated with it, and it's just going to kind of hold temperatures in check. But yeah, getting a lot of use out of your coat this week.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. Time now, 4:52, 37 degrees, not 73.
No.
Sadly.
Not right now. Coming up next, a preview as Jeopardy's all-time winningest contestant begins his guest hosting stint on the show this week.
And let's take a look at those lotto numbers. Pick 3, 215. Shout out to 215. Fireball 3, Daily 4, 2247, Fireball 8.
Cash 5, we have 8, 9, 13, 32, 34. Lotto Texas 3, 11, 23, 35, 41, 54. And your Powerball numbers 14, 26, 38, 45, 46, Powerball 13, Power Play 2. Good luck.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. Jeopardy producers continuing to look for a new host for the show. Plus, 2020, actually a good year for Taylor Swift.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Christopher Watson.
Here is the guest host of Jeopardy!
Jeopardy's all-time winningest contestant begins his guest hosting stint on the show Monday, while producers continue to seek a permanent replacement for longtime host Alex Trebek, who died of pancreatic cancer in November. Producers just released a first-look promo of Ken Jennings taking the stage in his new role.
Like all Jeopardy fans, I miss Alex very much.
Trebek's last recorded episode aired Friday. Arnold Schwarzenegger from a nearly 8-minute message on Twitter commenting on last week's storming of the U.S. Capitol.
Wednesday was the day of broken glass right here in the United States.
The former California governor draws parallels to his youth growing up in post-Nazi Austria and ends by saying America will recover and be stronger.
America will come back from these dark days and shine our lights once again.
And then I felt like I was an old cardigan.
Taylor Swift had a pretty good 2020, musically at least. Her album Folklore sold more copies in the U.S. than any other. It is the only album to move at least 1 million. It marks the 5th time Swift scored a given year's top-selling album. And happy birthday to the Queen of R&B, Mary J. Blige, is 50 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
Anything you want to add on the Taylor Swift stuff?
I haven't heard it all yet.
Me neither.
I know you haven't either.
There we go. All right, 4:57, 37 degrees out.
And still ahead on GMSA, lots of things happening in Washington as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House could move to impeach President Donald Trump as soon as this week.
Plus, the latest on a possible team up by Apple and Hyundai. They could be producing autonomous electric cars. That's ahead in Tech Bites.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
New this morning, the latest on a crash that ends with one woman dead on the north side overnight. We have the details.
And coming up, the efforts to remove Trump from office with just days left in his presidency. I'm Andrew Dimbert in Washington, D.C. with the very latest.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, it is a cold 37 degrees. Definitely bundle up today. And yeah, pretty much every morning this week, I think, would be a safe bet.
Good morning. It is Monday, January 11th. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us. Some school changes to tell you about this morning. Blanco ISD will delay the start of school until 10 a.m.
And Doss Consolidated Common School District is canceling classes today. I know a lot of people saw the chunky rain.
Chunky rain.
Yesterday.
You want to show off the snow?
Or snow. I didn't get enough to build a snowman, but I'm wearing the earrings in honor of those who did see the snow.
All right, Mike, any more snow that we should be aware of?
Nope, nothing, just the leftovers well up there to the north of us, because it is staying pretty chilly up there to the north. And I saw a little bit of mist this morning. That's the exception rather than the rule. 37 degrees, dew points at 31, so there's a fair amount. I mean, relative humidity is up to 79% right now, so it kind of adds to that chill out there, because the more moisture in the air conducts the heat away from your body as opposed to dry air, which is actually a very good insulator. So that's why it may feel a little bit cooler this morning. Plus, we've got a slight breeze out there, so there's enough of wind chill. And look at that. That's it. We're only going to make it up to 45 later on this afternoon. So we'll be about 15, 17 degrees below normal, kind of like yesterday. Temperatures basically haven't moved from roughly noon yesterday. That's when we hit our low, was at noon yesterday. And we stayed just mid 30s all afternoon, all night long. Although the cloud cover has kept us from getting even colder. That's not going to be the situation, though, tomorrow morning. We're not going to have any clouds tonight. No blanket to keep us warm. The aquifer, nice jump yesterday, 0.8 of a foot. And all the rain that we got, as a matter of fact, at the 8300s out there at the airport, that helped out quite a bit. Mountain cedars on the high side. Mold is moderate. And as far as any rain out there, like I said, we've had a couple little sprinkles that I saw on radar. And as you can see, if you kind of blink, you miss it. But there's just those few little ones that slid through downtown this morning, and maybe a couple of damp spots left over on the roads. Wind chill temperatures, 24 is what it feels like in Kerrville right now, 29 Randolph, 31 at the airport, and some 31s up there. Burning Stage, 26 for wind chill as of right now. So this morning, mostly cloudy. Again, maybe a speck of mist. Few and far between at best. Like I said, that's just the exception rather than the rule. And then later on today, partly cloudy skies. We'll see some sunshine late today. It's going to stay cold, only mid 40s. And then tomorrow, we start off really, really cold. 20s, freezing all around the area, and a lot of 20s even here in town. And then the rest of the week, overall chilly. We'll start to get a little milder toward Thursday, and then another front moves on through here, and a second front over the weekend. We'll see if they bring any rain with them. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Getting ready to hit the roads. All of your traffic information from Samuel King.
Hey, good morning, Mike. Good morning, everyone. Things looking pretty good right now. If you're someone who heads to work nice and early like we do, 281 on the north side had some construction here between TPC and 1604, but travel time's looking well as they're wrapping up that construction now at this hour, about 7 minutes each way. And looking at some of the travel times, that's improving. It was 30 minutes from Beauverde just a little bit ago. 24 minutes on I-10 from Bernie, 20 minutes on 90 from Castroville, 26 minutes on 35 from New Braunfels. And here's a look at TransGuide 37 at Jones, looking fine this morning. Max, Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. New this morning, one woman dead after being hit by a truck last night on the city's north side.
This happening on West Avenue and Trudell Drive near Loop 410 and Jackson Keller Road. Our Sarah Costa is live downtown with what we know about the fatal accident. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Max. Good morning, Stephanie. Yeah, unfortunately, that woman crossed at a very dark part of that intersection, and the driver said that he just didn't see her. Police say they got the call around 10:30 last night to the north side, the intersection of West Avenue and Trudell Drive. The victim was a woman in her 60s. The sergeant on scene telling us that she was struck by a truck. The driver, a man in his 30s, told police it was dark and didn't see the woman until it was too late. He stopped to help the woman and called police. When first responders arrived, they pronounced the woman dead on scene. The driver, police say, won't be facing any charges since he stopped to help the woman and called 911. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News. Max and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. Overnight, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi bringing up an ultimatum for Vice President Mike Pence. Immediately remove Donald Trump from office by the way of the 25th Amendment, or else she says that the Democrat-led House will move to impeach Trump for a second time.
ABC's Andrew Dimpert is tracking those efforts to remove President Donald Trump from office with just 9 days left in his presidency.
This morning, House Democrats vow to move forward with impeachment legislation, even with just days left in Donald Trump's presidency. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi telling CBS's 60 Minutes, if Trump's cabinet and Vice President Mike Pence do not invoke the 25th Amendment, a vehicle to remove the president from office, then impeachment it is.
I like the 25th Amendment because it gets rid of him. He's out of office. But there is strong support in the Congress for impeaching the president a second time.
Democrats feel they have no choice but to fast-track a second impeachment during Trump's final days in office, demanding he be held accountable for last week's Capitol siege. Speaker Pelosi readying her party with a single article of impeachment, charging Trump with incitement of insurrection. At least 200 lawmakers support the resolution, but so far, not a single Republican has publicly signed on. The latest ABC News Ipsos poll finds a majority of Americans want Trump removed from office, but only 13% of Republicans support removal.
I think the best thing for the country to heal would be for him to resign. The next best thing is the 25th Amendment.
The violent rampage that consumed Capitol Hill last Wednesday came moments after Trump urged his supporters to be strong at this rally.
We're going to the Capitol, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
A deadly riot ensued as Congress confirmed Joe Biden's election victory. Roughly 60 criminal cases have been opened on people suspected of taking part in the mayhem. The Department of Justice says at least 20 are facing federal charges. Adam Johnson from Florida, who was seen in this viral photograph carrying Speaker Pelosi's lectern, and Arkansas's Richard Barnett, the man who would pose for pictures on the House Speaker's desk. And the Democratic caucus is holding a private call this afternoon to discuss how to move forward. And the House could vote on an impeachment bill as early as this week. Still, a conviction in the Senate is highly unlikely, but if successful, it would potentially mean President Trump could never run for public office again. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
The parents of a man who was shot on the city's east side early last week say they are hopeful the person responsible will be caught. 51-year-old Dietrich Harrington Jr. was found at the intersection of Ferris Avenue and Beulah Street with multiple gunshot wounds to the chest. His family says he was a hard-working man and a social butterfly who did not have any enemies.
We forgive him. It is not us to judge, because we know not the time or the place where it's going to happen to either one of us. But we will tell him he will be judged by God.
Police say at this time there are no suspects, no witnesses, and no motive. They are asking anyone with any information that could lead to an arrest in this case to please call police.
Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf, they acknowledge and recognize the high demand for the vaccine here in Bexar County, and now they're requesting more doses of the vaccine from Governor Greg Abbott. So in a letter to the governor this weekend, they wrote in part, quote, to date, 26,000 appointments at the mass vaccination sites have been filled rapidly without significant issues other than the lack of enough doses of the vaccine to meet this demand, end quote. Now, the governor has yet to respond to the letter, mainly because it was just sent this weekend. The Texas Department of State Health Services has announced Bexar County is expected to get another 9,000 doses. So make sure to stay with us online and on air as information about the availability and when you can sign up. Well, we'll have those updates. I know this weekend's been very frustrating for a lot of people.
Yes, it has been.
All
Time
right.
now is 5:08 and 37 degrees for now.
Still ahead, the all-virtual Consumer Electronics Show 2021 kicking off today. We're going to have a preview.
Also next, the Mega Millions and Powerball jackpots are getting pretty high, but is buying a lottery ticket really worth it? What some experts say you should do with your money instead. Spend it on yourself? I don't know.
We're taking a live look out at the Alamo City. 37 degrees to start your Monday morning. We're going to check with Mike Osterhage right after the break. Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. It is a dream a lot of us have had, winning a huge lottery jackpot, and with the prize of up to $600 million for the Mega Millions and $550 million for the Powerball. A little less than 600. Let's not get too excited. It may be enticing to go out and buy a ticket.
Definitely. But if you're looking to make more money, experts say you should pump the brakes on those lotto dreams. And David Sears explains a better way to invest your money.
U.S. Census data shows that lottery sales in 2016, the most recent year with complete data, totaled more than $80 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B. That comes out to about $313 a year for every adult. To put that into perspective, that's more than the typical household spends on milk, fresh vegetables and fruits, or reading materials. The probability of winning the lottery is about as remote as it gets, at about 1 in 302 million for Mega Millions players. You have significantly better odds of becoming an astronaut, being elected president of the United States, having identical quadruplets, or getting attacked by a shark. But the real implications of the lottery, which will impact everyone in a tangible sense, is that Americans are simply losing out on money. And if you think that winning the lottery is a legitimate way of getting wealth, one economics professor told financial publisher MoneyWise that it would be like having an NFL team switch over to baseball in order to win a championship. In other words, highly unlikely. In 2016, census data shows Texans spent about $4.8 billion on lottery tickets. But if they would have just invested it in the S&P 500, then the total return would have been $6.5 billion in just 1 year. Economists say it is better to invest the money you spend on lottery tickets, opening a 401k or IRA, or even just a simple account to invest in index funds will give you a better return on your money in the long run. And the odds are in your favor if you invest. David Sears, KSAT 12 News.
All very good points. Very true.
Yes.
And I'm not telling people to go out there and buy lottery funds. Shout out to our Samuel King. Pulled up where some of those money that is invested in the lottery goes. It is the Foundation School Fund by the TEA.
Yeah, so you're kind of helping with education there.
There you go, helping kids of Texas. You're welcome. 5:15, 37 degrees. Plus, you can win $600 million.
Yeah, there's always that chance. Still ahead, a first look at this year's all virtual Consumer Electronics Show.
And two of the world's biggest companies could be teaming up to start competing in the electric car business. We'll explain next.
Here's to the doers. To all the people who realize they can do more with less asthma. Thanks to Dupixent, the add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. Dupixent isn't for sudden breathing problems. It can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks and help prevent severe asthma attacks. It's not a steroid, but can help reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Dupixent can cause serious allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away if you have rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. And don't change or stop your asthma treatments, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Are you ready to do more with less asthma? Talk to your asthma specialist about Dupixent. If your financial situation has changed, we may be able to help.
In today's Tech Bites, the all-virtual CES gets underway. This year's scaled-down trade show features items for consumers leading pandemic lives, like high-tech masks and air purifiers. And LG will show off its see-through 55-inch television. You can see right through it, even when there's an image playing. Hyundai is reportedly partnering with Apple to launch a line of self-driving electric cars. Reports say the companies are poised to sign a deal by March and roll out the autonomous vehicles in about 3 years from a factory here in the U.S. And finally, the Nickelodeon broadcast of the NFL featuring appearances by SpongeBob SquarePants between the uprights. There are also digital enhancements of Saints and Bears players, and New Orleans coach Sean Payton celebrated his team's win by getting slimed. And those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
I love it. I think it's genius because now with the emergence of esports, you got to introduce this to the kids, introduce football to the kids, Nickelodeon is a perfect way.
I know, SpongeBob and slime.
SpongeBob, the real hero last night. Samuel King, you saw some of it, right?
Yes, I actually thought they did a good job with that. I think they were saying, like, it's not just the kids who are watching it, it was all the people who grew up watching Nickelodeon because of all the, you're talking about Doug and Rugrats and stuff. But no, but the broadcast actually was pretty good. You learned a lot about football. But looking at the roads right now, things looking pretty good at this time of morning. Let's take a look at Bandera Road between 1604 and 410. 11 minutes now between 410 and 1604 and 10 minutes heading the other way. And looking at TransGuide here, camera's moving very quickly. 281 at Winding Way. There may be something on the camera there, but we'll check that out and see what's going on there. Guys, over to you.
Thank you. Dare I say that's a nice picture because I'm a Longhorn, but I know that's at College Station, but it is a nice picture.
Wow, talk about diplomacy. That's a pretty picture. Yes, it is a gorgeous picture out there at the George Bush Library up there in College Station at A&M, and a lot of snow, and it was further up to the north. Yes, we did have a little bit of snow mixed in with some of the sleet here in town, but obviously the further north you went, the more snow there was yesterday. And right now we do have a lot of clouds out there this morning, but well, there may be a little bit of mist. I saw a little bit on the windshield coming into work, and there's nothing showing up on radar. Maybe a little too light, but here were those couple little specks that scooted through downtown just maybe a couple of hours ago, and that's the exception rather than the rule. Temperatures. Everybody, with just a couple of exceptions, at least the reporting sites are above freezing. Comfort 33. Now, of course, this means in your backyard it may be below freezing, and there still could be a couple of damp spots on the roads. Also, when you look at these numbers, the dew point temperatures compared to the actual air temperature, there's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, there's not much moisture in the air, but then compared to the temperature, that's how we figure out relative humidity. These numbers are fairly high, a lot of relative humidity out there, and that's why it feels even colder this morning because we've got that damp chill. Now, tonight, we're not going to have any cloud cover on top of us. We could have actually gone down a little bit cooler this morning, but we're not going to have cloud cover, so it's going to be even colder tomorrow. And as far as dew point temperatures, they are going to be staying on the lower side all week long. So that is going to allow us to be on the cooler side throughout the rest of the week, even though high temperatures by Thursday will make it up to roughly the mid, maybe upper 60s. That'll be a one-day deal. Then we get another front moving on through here. Here's all the low clouds still hanging around in behind that system that gave us some of the rain, and as you can see, or gave us some of the snow, I should say, and all that continues to move on out of here off to the east and the northeast. And if you are doing any traveling off to the east or northeast, you may want to definitely take it easy or check ahead because there could be some potential delays if you're doing any air travel. But up to the northwest of us, that's what's in store for the next couple of days. Really a bunch of sunshine around here for this week. It's going to be a gorgeous week. We may have a couple of clouds hanging around here tomorrow, but other than that, like I said, plenty in the way of sunshine. So there's the upper low that gave us some of that snow. Another one's going to kind of scoot by here tomorrow. It's not going to do anything. It's going to be so dry around here. Also, we got to take note, there's a high building off the coast of California, and that's going to help to keep us in this northwesterly flow aloft. Then we get a big chunk of cold air coming into the Great Lakes and northern Plains states. So again, that keeps us in this colder air, and a series of a couple of fronts, one Thursday, one Sunday, are going to be moving on through here and helping to keep us on the cool side. So this is the type of wintry, and it's going to be cold up there on the Great Lakes. That's a kind of winter pattern to keep us definitely chilly. So today, we're only going to make it up to 40 today at noon. A lot of clouds hanging around here. We'll see some sunshine breaking out later on this afternoon, partly cloudy skies, 45. So normal high is 62. Do the math, way below where we should be. Tomorrow we start off in the upper 20s, up to 53. Still freezing on Wednesday morning, and we'll finally make it up to 67 Thursday. That's going to be kind of held in check, though, because another front will come through here dry. The next chance of rain, though, won't be until about Sunday.
Still looks a lot milder this coming weekend.
Yeah, and it will be mild. It's still that kind of chilly rain on Sunday, and keep a coat handy pretty much all week long.
All right, we'll brush off the coat and use it again.
Thank you, Mike. Time now, 5:24, 37 degrees out.
And up next, lots of NFL playoff action this weekend. We're going to have a recap of the biggest games.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday after a weekend, bless you, a weekend filled with NFL action. Well, it started yesterday, actually started Saturday. The former Oilers The Titans hosting the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, former MVP. He ran for 136 yards. Yeah, he's a quarterback. And he had a 48-yard touchdown. He also threw for another 179 yards. And that led the Baltimore Ravens rallying from 10 points down, beating the Titans 20-13 in the AFC wildcard game. Baltimore also shutting down Derrick Henry throughout the game, holding Tennessee Titans to the fewest points they've had all season. The Titans actually had the ball and a chance to win, a chance to tie, when Marcus Peters intercepted Ryan Tannehill's pass. 150 left, the Ravens snapping a string of 21 straight games lost by the franchise in either the regular season or playoffs when trailing by 10 or more. All right, let's head to the NFC. Drew Brees and the Saints completing 28 of 39 passes. He had 265 yards in the air, and he connected with Michael Thomas. There it is. Michael Thomas starting the slime for the day. Touchdown. That led to a 21-9 victory over the Chicago Bears, in an NFC wildcard game. So the victory for the Saints, setting up a divisional round meeting next weekend at the Superdome. We got the Tampa Bay, if you will, because, Tom Brady. I'm trying to be witty. It's not working. And the Rams will take on the former St. Louis Rams. Now the LA Rams will take on the Green Bay Packers Saturday, 3:35 in the afternoon. But we still got more football to talk about. We can talk about the Browns, who had a weird couple weeks, taking on the Steelers, AFC wildcard matchup. Baker Mayfield throwing for 3 touchdowns. The Browns getting their first playoff win in 26 years. Their first playoff road win since 1969. The Browns overcoming all sorts of problems and history. Kareem Hunt, 2 touchdowns running for Cleveland. They were playing without several high-profile players, and their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, he was out because of COVID. It hardly mattered, though. The Browns racing to a quick 28-0 lead. Steelers really didn't know what to do. They kind of rallied back in the second half. Ben Roethlisberger could retire, could not. Who's to say? He's kind of old. He passed for 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, but also he threw 4 picks. Old for football, for the record.
Yes.
Not in real life.
I just gave Max
the NFL is a different look. Next Sunday, the Browns are going to be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, your defending champs, Kansas City Chiefs and Pat Mahomes. And the Ravens taking on the Buffalo Bills on Saturday. So we got another full slate. It was fantastic. 6 games of high-octane football, some good games.
You didn't leave the house.
Didn't leave the apartment. I blame it on the snow, or the chunky rain, as Mike's called it, but it was really for the football.
You have 2 excuses. There you go.
Time now, just about 5:30, 37 degrees out.
And still ahead on GMSA, why some hospitals are being forced to throw out some doses of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Plus, declining mental health has become a big side effect of this pandemic. A closer look at how local patients are now dealing with it. Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday, 5:32 this Monday, January 11th. We're running through January.
Yeah, it's going by pretty quickly, and with that snow or chunky rain that we had yesterday, it made it actually feel like January.
Oh, and it's going to not only, yesterday it looked like January, and it's going to feel like January. It does right now, and pretty much all week long. We do still have a lot of clouds left over. I saw just a couple of specks of mist on my windshield coming into work this morning, so there could be a few damp spots on the roads, but we have temperatures that for the most part everywhere well above freezing. 37 right now, and slight wind out of the northwest, so there is a bit of a wind chill to deal with. And again, we've got a couple little sprinkles here and there's that little batch as this rolls on through here. Some of those sprinkles that showed up this morning, or the mist I should say, and like I said, that's the exception. Now, wind chill temperatures, this has nothing to do with anything freezing. This is just what it feels like to your body. 30 in town at 29 Randolph, 26 Bernie Stage, and the winner is Kerrville right now at 25 for a wind chill. And throughout the day, it is not going to warm up by any stretch. 40 at noon, 45 for high temperature, a little bit of a light breeze out of the northeast. Then we get rid of the clouds tonight, so that's going to allow temperatures to get really, really cold tomorrow. We're looking at definitely freeze all around the area, and a lot of 20s, including here in town. Will that be the case all week? Find out in just a couple of minutes. With the very latest traffic, here is Samuel King.
Hey, good morning, Mike. Good morning, everyone. Things looking pretty good here on the roads. We do have a report of a stalled vehicle on the shoulder here at 35 and 1604, but as you can see, still looking green on the map. And taking a look at travel times coming in from New Braunfels to downtown San Antonio, 26 minutes, 30 minutes now from Seguin on I-10 into downtown, 17 minutes on 35 from Lytle. And taking a look at TransGuide, I-10 at UTSA Boulevard looks fine, as does 1604 at Wiseman. Max, Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. Shortly after the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine, an issue popped up.
Some doses are expiring and being thrown away before they can be given to people in high priority groups. CNN's John Lawrence reports.
More than 22 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been distributed to hospitals and pharmacies nationwide so far, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Relax your arm to your side, don't tense up.
But the CDC says fewer than 7 million people have received the first dose.
The issue is not the supply of the vaccine. The issue is not being able to get enough people injected with the vaccine.
Some hospitals are forced to throw away vaccines that quickly expired once they were taken out of cold storage.
This is such a precious resource, and really this wastage should not be tolerated at all.
Health experts say there may be a lag in vaccine reporting, but some actions can be taken to improve the process.
If there are, let's say, 3 doses in a vial that are not used, that the pharmacists or nurses should be allowed to give that to whoever is around instead of wasting it.
This comes as more than 2.2 million new COVID-19 cases and about 27,000 deaths were reported in the U.S. during the first 10 days of 2021, according to Johns Hopkins University.
We have a lot more that we need to do, because right now across the country, the freezers are filling up with this vaccine, and it's not where we need it.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Here at home, the city is starting their vaccinations at the Alamo Dome this morning, and with more opportunities come more questions.
So this weekend on Leading SA, Dr. Brian Alsip with the Chief Medical Officer. He's with University Health. He joined us. Now, he did say as far as the numbers of vaccine doses being administered, we are not where we would like to be as a country, a state, and a community here in Bexar County. But we also discussed how long it actually takes for the vaccine to become effective. Take a listen.
Well, it takes about 2 weeks for the initial effect to kick in. That's about how long it takes for your antibodies to develop after exposure to the vaccine. But it's really important to get that second dose, because that's what creates the entire amount of efficacy against COVID, the disease we're trying to fight.
As far as more availability for more doses, the doctor also told us it depends on when more vaccines are allocated to our area. And to help local people get their COVID vaccine, well, VIA is now offering complimentary rides to anyone traveling to or from an appointment at the city and county-sponsored vaccination sites. Locations like the Alamo Dome and Wonderland of America's Mall. These offers include regular bus, VIA Link, and VIA Trans services. Riders do have to present their appointment registration on paper or by phone, or they have to show their COVID-19 shot record on the day of the appointment.
Vice President-elect Kamala Harris's team is asking Vogue to replace a photo for an upcoming cover that features her. A source says staff were blindsided when it leaked on Twitter. The person says the agreed-upon image showed Harris in a light blue suit with a gold background. The leaked cover features her in a black suit and sneakers with a pink and green background. The source says Harris's team didn't even approve that image for the photo spread, let alone the cover. Vogue says it thought an informal photo would capture Harris's approachable nature. The magazine says it will use both images online.
Next year's PGA Championship was supposed to take place at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, but now it won't. The PGA says holding the event there would damage their brand. So on Sunday, the board of the PGA voted to terminate the agreement to hold the event there. The championship is considered one of the majors in men's pro golfing. The Trump organization responded in a statement saying the decision to pull the 2020 championship from the Trump National Golf Course is a breach of a binding contract, and the PGA does not have the right to terminate it. Time now, 5:38, 37 degrees out.
Still ahead, big tech companies are pushing back against a smartphone social media app that is popular with President Donald Trump supporters.
And next, a closer look at how the pandemic is taking a toll on the mental health of millions of Americans.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, you will get use out of your jacket this entire week. It is 37 degrees for now, and it's going to kind of stay cold throughout the rest of the day. We're going to check in with Mike after the break.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. A new year means brand new episodes of our digital program, KSAT Explains.
This Thursday, we are going to release the first episode of 2021, and it's all about the toll this pandemic is taking on our mental health.
A lot of us were happy to leave the year 2020 behind, but a brand new year doesn't mean a clean slate when it comes to COVID. The pandemic that plagued last year has followed us into the new one.
We're all experiencing stress to the point of toxic stress. You know, that's that chronic stress that doesn't let up.
That stress is leaving very few people unscathed, from recovered COVID patients trying to adjust to life after the trauma of a very serious disease.
Anxiety would hit me and I would break down for no reason. You know, I would be in the shower and I would just be overcome with emotion.
To parents trying to raise children in extraordinary circumstances.
They may not understand the situation, but they can understand when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're mad.
The stress is mounting for so many people, and it's making existing challenges even more difficult.
The pandemic circumstances really create the perfect environment for using.
As a result of that, we see a lot of increases in depression and anxiety. We're seeing a lot of struggling with sobriety and a lot of relapse.
Addiction thrives in isolation. So recovery has to be about community. It has to be about engagement.
We're still here for each other when times are hard, and especially when times get hard. Never underestimate the healing power of emotional connection.
In this episode of KSAT Explains, we're taking a look at the effect this pandemic has had on all of our mental well-being, the risk of not handling the stress in a healthy way, and what we can do to take care of ourselves in 2021.
And KSAT Explains Your Mental Health in 2021 will be available to stream on demand this Thursday. You'll be able to find it at ksat.com/explains or on the KSAT TV app on most streaming devices.
The time now is 5:44, a cold 37 degrees.
Coming up next in your morning spotlight, a popular TV series is getting a revival on HBO Max.
Good morning, welcome back. We have some movies to tell you about as well as some small screen reunions.
Here's CNN's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Sex and the City is coming back. A 10-episode limited series called And Just Like That is going forward at HBO Max. Sarah Jessica Parker, Cynthia Nixon, and Kristen Davis are all set to return, though not Kim Cattrall.
My mom said that you're homeless. Is that true?
No, I'm not homeless. I'm just houseless. Not the same thing, right?
Nomadland is racking up the awards. The acclaimed drama nabbed 4 big honors from the National Society of Film Critics. Best Picture, Best Actress for Frances McDormand, Best Director for Chloe Zhao, and Best Cinematography for Joshua James Richards.
I feel like once you know someone is there for you and once you know they love you, you never actually think of them again. It's until you're about to lose someone that you finally pay attention.
The official trailer is out for Malcolm and Marie. John David Washington and Zendaya play a couple whose love is tested over one fateful evening. Sam Levinson, the creator of Zendaya's series Euphoria, filmed the two-person drama last summer under Hollywood Union COVID-19 safety protocols. Malcolm and Marie debuts February 5th on Netflix. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
In your morning consumer headlines, some major corporations are rethinking political donations after the riot at the Capitol. The Wall Street Journal reporting that banks like JP Morgan, Chase, and Citigroup are pausing all donations to the political action committees. And Marriott and Blue Cross Blue Shield say they're pausing donations to lawmakers who challenged the Electoral College count.
And it is getting harder for President Donald Trump supporters to communicate on an alternative social media platform. You may have heard of it. It's called Parler. Apple is removing Parler from their App Store, saying it is home to violent threats and calls for illegal activity. Google also removing Parler from their Play Store, and Amazon removing Parler from its cloud hosting service. The app is still available to download on Parler's website. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump remains locked out of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and even Twitch.
And a new trend in returns. Some companies are giving customers refunds and telling them to keep the items. Retailers like Amazon, Walmart, and Target making that call when it might be too expensive to ship the item back. That actually happened to me before Christmas. I ordered a frame from Amazon and it came broken. And so I was going to return it, and they're like, no, just keep it. I'm like, how do they know if I'm telling the truth? But I guess it wasn't enough for them to be worried about.
That's right. All right, 37 degrees out. Yesterday we saw some snow.
Yes, well, chunky rain.
So, Samuel, King County roadways look out there now.
They're looking fine, but there's still some issues. If you're happening to be heading up to the north and east today, there's still some issues on roads because it is colder up there. So definitely something to keep out on. But around here, things look okay. Let's look at Fredericksburg Road in the medical center area. Good morning. If you're heading that way, 15 minutes from Woodlawn to Huebner and 13 minutes going the other way. We mentioned this on Friday. The gas prices in Texas have finally gotten over $2 per gallon, which is the first time since March, the longest stretch on record, more than 300 days. But here in Bexar County, they're still only at $1.90. But again, there's some spots around our region where they are already $2 per gallon. And taking a look at TransGuide, 37 at Jones, looking fine this morning, guys.
Very cool. I love this picture. Yeah. That's so cute.
Now, and you were talking about my phrase that I like to use, chunky rain. But yeah, there were some snowflakes here in town, and obviously a lot more further up to the north. But yes, you definitely needed a warm pair of shoes for the four-legged guy. He doesn't look really happy. I don't know about y'all. Our dog's like, babe, at the back door and open the doors and go, nah, never mind.
I know. Ours came in too, but maybe I should get him some shoes. Stay out longer.
I don't know if it's just the shoes that guy is not happy about, but anyway, thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. A lot of clouds around this morning. We will see some sunshine as the afternoon rolls on. I keep pointing out that there have been a couple, just a little sprinkle. Does this loop even go back far enough? Let's see here and zoom in and blink and you miss it. But yeah, there was a little bit of mist on my windshield this morning. That was about the extent of it. So again, temperatures, normal low temperature right now is 40. Again, we're in the coldest period of the year for the next couple of days. We're about 5-10 degrees below that, just above freezing in portions of the hill country. The only freezing reading, of course, Bernie Stage right now, but your backyard may be freezing. And high temperatures today, of course, we're not going to be warming up all that much, going for 45 here in town. So mid and some upper 40s around the area. Normal high temperature being 62 here in town. So we'll be anywhere from 15-20 degrees below normal on average later on today. There's all the low clouds, this darker shade of gray, and notice how the flow is coming in here from the north to south. That's wrapping around this big upper low, which is what gave us all the snow. And as you can see, it's still a big snow producer there to the east of us around the mid-Mississippi Valley and going into the Tennessee Valley. Upstream, this is what is in store for the next couple of days. Nothing out there. Beautiful weather. It is definitely going to stay on the cold side. As a matter of fact, we are going to be clearing out later on tonight, and so we won't have that blanket on top of us. We had a blanket of clouds overnight, which helped keep temperatures up somewhat, so it's going to be really cold tomorrow morning. 40 today at noon, staying really cold all day long though. 45 degrees, so you want to keep those little boots on the dog. Partly cloudy skies, some sunshine later on today. Bit of a breeze, not much, but just enough to add that little bit of a nip to some of these temperatures. And then 28 tomorrow morning. Freezing on Wednesday, we'll make it up to 53 tomorrow. A lot of sunshine the rest of the week. Another front will come through late Thursday. We kind of warm up, if you will, ahead of that 67. Front comes through dry. The next front on Sunday, maybe we'll squeeze out a couple of showers.
But cold every morning.
Yeah. I got to say, from the Northeast originally, friends and family still live in the Philly area. 37 is the high for them most days.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So it's great. I mean, we're seeing 67 and sunny on Thursday. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of folks can come down here and wear. I saw a guy at the grocery store yesterday in shorts. I think he had flip-flops on too outside.
Yeah,
so good. Do your thing.
Some people can take it.
Maybe he was a northerner like us. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm all bundled up. This is the time of year where I'm like 10 layers on. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. 5:53, 37 degrees out.
Let's look at your winning lotto numbers. We have pick 3, 2, 1, 5, Fireball 3, Daily 4, 2, 2, 4, 7, Fireball 8.
Cash 5, 8, 9, 13, 32, 34. Lotto text is 3, 11, 23, 35, 41, 54. And Powerball 14, 26, 38, 45, 46, Powerball 13, Power Play 2. Good luck. We'll be right back.
Good Monday morning coming up here on GMA. Some new fallout for President Trump this morning after that siege at the Capitol. Democrats are making plans to move forward with an unprecedented second impeachment. And this morning, there is a nationwide manhunt for those involved in the siege, and that is intensifying. Dozens have already been arrested. Our powerhouse political and legal teams are tracking all of this, and we'll bring it to you right here on GMA.
And we want to invite you to join us for our virtual mental health awareness town hall. It has been a hardship for millions of Americans to live with, but they actually have a lot of trouble talking about it. So we're going to have a panel of experts to explain mental illness and share how you can make a difference. It is all on Wednesday, January 27th at 2 p.m. If you're interested, we have all this information right now. Just head to ksatcommunity.com. That's all for now, but we have so much more coming up after the break. We are talking women making strides in science and technology careers, plus, just ahead on GMSA, why the pandemic could have a negative impact on their careers. Before we head to break, taking a look out at the roadways. Looks like smooth sailing out there right now, but it is 35 degrees, so we're going to check in with Samuel King and Mike Osterhage right after the break.
A woman died late last night after crossing a dark intersection and being hit by a truck. Good morning, I'm Sarah Acosta. Coming up on GMSA, why police say the driver won't be facing any charges.
And coming up, the efforts to remove Trump from office with just days left in his presidency. I'm Andrew Dimbert in Washington, D.C. with the very latest.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, it is cold. It is 35 degrees. Wow, we started at 37 and now we're down to 35. So yes, bundle up. Today is the day to wear your jacket and to keep your jacket all day long.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning and happy Monday. It is January 11th. Thank you so much for starting your day with us. Yesterday, we saw a little bit of snow. Do you want to show off the earrings?
Oh, yes. I wore snowman earrings, even though we didn't have enough snow to build a snowman, at least not us. We still had fun. It was nice.
That's true.
The flurries.
Yeah, we saw some flurries. Mike, you're calling it chunky rain. Are we staying with that?
Well, I say that because, like, at my house, with it was basically just rain, but then all of a sudden you look and it's like, yeah, there may be a little bit of sleet. There was a little bit of sleet mixed in, yeah, which is just frozen ice pellets.
Yeah.
And a lot of snow further up to the north. I got a great KSAT Connect picture coming up, which will your earrings pay tribute to. Yes.
Very good.
Some folks just drove a great distance so they could do what her earrings are depicting yesterday. And right now, there has been a little bit of mist. I saw a little bit. I mean, that's the only thing that was showing up on radar right now. As you can see, nothing is still showing up on radar. There could be a speck of mist out there, but no big deal. And temperatures, it is definitely cold out there in the hill country. Got some freezing readings, Rock Springs, Fredericksburg, close to it in Kerrville. So obviously in your backyard, it may be freezing. And if you think it's cold right now, subtract anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees, and that's what we're looking at tomorrow morning. Wind chill temperatures right now, feels like 29 here in town, 27 Kerrville, and 28 at Randolph. So yeah, bundle up. Mountain cedars on the high side, although it has come down considerably from the past couple of days ago, and mold is moderate. Throughout the rest of today, temperatures will probably bottom out about where we are as of right now, with the cloud cover and the relatively high humidity not letting us get any cooler. And then won't be a big warm up. We gain 10 throughout the course of the day, make it up to 40 at noon, and then a high temperature up to 45, which is actually not that far above the normal low temperature. It's going to stay cold pretty much all week. Tomorrow's going to be the coldest morning, and we will make it up into the about mid-upper 60s, but got a couple of fronts moving on through here later on in the week. More on that in just a couple of minutes. Hitting the roads. I would assume your advice, Mr. King, is to warm up the vehicle.
Yes, it'll be a little cold in there if you don't you don't warm it up depending on your vehicle. Good morning, everyone. Things are looking okay, but we do have a report of an accident here on I-10 West at the Dominion. It's at the shoulder, but you can see there's a bit of a slowdown here on the frontage roads there and on Dominion itself, but not really affecting I-10 too much. Let's take a look at some travel times coming in from Bernie right now. 24 minutes in I-10, so looking good so far. 20 minutes minutes on 90 from Castroville. And let's move over to the other side of the region, shall we? 28 minutes from Seguin, 26 minutes into downtown San Antonio from New Braunfels. And here's a look at TransGuide 35, the lower level at Laredo downtown looking okay, as does I-10 at UTSA Boulevard. Max, Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. A woman crossing a dark intersection struck and killed by the driver of a truck last night. It happened at West Avenue and Trudell Drive on the city's north side. Our Sarah Costa is live downtown with what we know about this fatal accident. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Stephanie. And that intersection was not well lit. Unfortunately, that's where that woman crossed and was hit by a truck. Police say they were called out around 10:30 last night to the intersection of West Avenue and Trudell Drive. The victim was a woman in her 60s. The sergeant on scene telling us that she was struck by a truck. The driver, a man in his 30s, told police it was dark and didn't see the woman until it was unfortunately too late. He stopped to help the woman and called police. When first responders arrived, they pronounced the woman dead on scene. The driver, police say, won't be facing any charges because he did stop to render aid, called 911, and they are ruling this an accident. Live from downtown, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News. Max and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. Now to the latest on the pandemic. Local health officials reporting 3,002 new cases of COVID-19 here in Bexar County. That is the highest single-day case total that we've seen since the pandemic started. Mayor Ron Nirenberg says more than 1,400 people in our local hospitals because of this virus. 395 people in the ICU, 229 of them are on ventilators.
In Nueces County, doctors say at least one person has been diagnosed with the new COVID-19 variant that originated in Europe. Now, this was initially reported in the Corpus Christi Caller-Times. The report says a man in his 60s recently visited the UK because of a family emergency. Once he returned home, he was diagnosed with that variant. The new variant is reported to be more contagious, but no evidence support it as if it's more deadly.
And Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf, they are now requesting more doses of the vaccine from Governor Greg Abbott. In a letter to the governor this weekend, it wrote in part, to date, 26,000 appointments at mass vaccination sites have been filled rapidly without significant issues other than the lack of enough doses of the vaccine to meet this demand, end quote. Governor Abbott has yet to respond to the letter. The Texas Department of State Health Services has announced that Bexar County is expected to get another 9,000 doses.
We are told there are still a few slots available for the COVID-19 vaccine distribution on the south side. Councilwoman Rebecca Villagran posted about the limited availability on social media. She announced registration was full at the west side distribution site, the Alicia Trevino Lopez Senior Center. The south side location is at the Elvira Cisneros Senior Community Center. That's on 517 Southwest Military Drive. To register, you must call the number on your screen. That's 833-968-1745. That phone line will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Now to Washington, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi giving Vice President Mike Pence an ultimatum. She says if he does not step up to remove President Donald Trump by the 25th Amendment, Speaker Pelosi says the House of Representatives will move to impeach President Trump.
House Democrats say they are prepared to bring articles of impeachment to the House floor this week, while several Republican lawmakers are saying the president has to go now. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the latest.
And good morning. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Mike Pence has 24 hours to act on the 25th Amendment, or she and her colleagues are charging ahead with impeachment for the second time in Trump's tenure, something never before seen in this nation's history. This morning, House Democrats vow to move forward with impeachment. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi telling CBS's 60 Minutes, if Trump's cabinet and Vice President Mike Pence do not invoke the 25th Amendment, a vehicle to remove the president from office, then impeachment it is.
I like the 25th Amendment because it gets rid of him. He's out of office. But there is strong support in the Congress for impeaching the president a second time.
Democrats feel they have no choice but to fast-track a second impeachment during Trump's final days in office, demanding he be held accountable for last week's Capitol siege. Speaker Pelosi readying her party with a single article of impeachment, charging Trump with incitement of insurrection. The latest ABC News Ipsos poll finds a majority of Americans want Trump removed from office, but only 13% of Republicans support removal.
I think the best thing for the country to heal would be for him to resign.
The violent rampage that consumed Capitol Hill last Wednesday came moments after Trump urged his supporters to be strong at this rally.
We're going to the Capitol, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
A deadly riot ensued. Roughly 60 criminal cases have been opened on people suspected of taking part in the mayhem. The Department of Justice says at least 20 are facing federal charges. And the Democratic caucus is holding a private call this afternoon to discuss how to move forward. And the House could vote on an impeachment bill as early as this week. Still, a conviction in the Senate is highly unlikely, but if successful, it would potentially mean President Trump could never run for public office again. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
In other headlines, the White House says President Donald Trump will visit the border wall in Alamo, Texas tomorrow. A press release says he wants to mark the completion of a portion of the border wall. Now, the trip is the only item on the president's official calendar for this coming week, but he does appear poised to release a list of pardons, issue executive orders, and give out a Medal of Freedom. For clarification, some of our viewers have asked if President Donald Trump intends to visit the Alamo here in San Antonio. Despite some confusion on social media, President Donald Trump will not be at the Alamo, just the town of Alamo. It's east of McAllen.
Elderberry is becoming a popular remedy during flu season, but a study from the Cleveland Clinic says it does not work. The study looked at 87 people who went to the emergency room with the flu. It showed that people who were given elderberry had moderate to severe symptoms 2 days longer on average than people who were given a placebo. A doctor with the Cleveland Clinic says more research needs to be done to understand the connection. But right now, doctors say the best way to prevent the flu is to wash your hands frequently and get a flu shot.
There you go. All right, time now, 6:10, 35 degrees out.
After a weekend of back-to-back series against the Timberwolves, the Spurs are one game away from ending a long road trip. We're going to have the latest from this weekend.
And with the large prizes in the lottery games recently, the Mega Millions fever has hit a lot of people. Stephanie, did you get a lotto ticket?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
If you're looking to realistically make money, experts say you should pump the brakes on buying that ticket. After the break, better ways to make money than buying a lotto ticket. Literally anything else.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I usually don't win things. So that's why it's hard for me to play unless everybody is like, hey, we want to join us? I'm like, okay.
Watch, the one time you buy a lotto ticket, you're going to get $600 million. I can feel it.
We shall see. We'll be right back.
U.S. Census data shows that lottery sales in 2016, the most recent year with complete data, totaled more than $80 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B. That comes out to about $313 a year for every adult. To put that into perspective, that's more than the typical household spends on milk, fresh vegetables and fruits, or reading materials.
The probability of winning the lottery is about as remote as it gets, at about 1 in 302 million for Mega Millions players. You have significantly better odds of becoming an astronaut, being elected president of the United States, having identical quadruplets, or getting attacked by a shark. But the real implications of the lottery, which will impact everyone in a tangible sense, is that Americans are simply losing out on money. And if you think that winning the lottery is a legitimate way of getting wealth, one economics professor told financial publisher MoneyWise that it would be like having an NFL team switch over to baseball in order to win a championship. In other words, highly unlikely. In 2016, census data shows Texans spent about $4.8 billion on lottery tickets. But if they would have just invested it in the S&P 500, then the total return would have been $6.5 billion in just 1 year.
Economists say it is better to invest the money you spend on lottery tickets, opening a 401k or IRA, or even just a simple account to invest in index funds will give you a better return on your money in the long run. And the odds are in your favor if you invest. David Sears, KSAT 12 News.
But if you like to play the lottery for fun, financial experts do have some tips. First, don't play too often. Otherwise, it's just gambling.
They also say, second, make sure you have a budget to play the lottery and that you are not spending money needed for necessities like housing, food, or your bills.
And third, buy just one ticket. Spending more money on more tickets, thinking you have a better chance to win, is actually mathematically negligible. So we do know our Samuel King. You bought a ticket. So Samuel, what are you going to do when you win?
Depends on how much.
$600 million.
You might not see me the next
We will know.
Or maybe not the next day, but maybe a little bit after that, just to throw everyone off. Anyway, looking at traffic this morning, things it looks like we've won the lotto with this morning because everything looks pretty well. Let's take a look at 1604, like the wide swath here. From 35 to Bandera, about 11 or 12 minutes each way. And then on the west side here, 1604, 15 minutes from 35 to 151. So flowing smoothly right now, but we know in just a little bit that will probably change. And taking a look at TransGuide right now, 1604, John Peace looks okay. And let's get one more camera view here. I-10 at Callahan looking fine this morning, folks.
All right, thank you,
Come
Samuel.
up with a name for a trust fund that does not link it to you. So.
Oh, smart. Mike, I did see you throw your hands up at one point during
well, no, when
the
they're
story.
talking about if you buy tickets more than once, it's called gambling. Well, no kidding. So
All day.
Really?
People like to play.
No.
Exactly. So, and if you buy 2 tickets, your odds.
Do you double your odds?
Or twice? Yeah, you double your chances.
Yeah,
depending on what,
depending on what you're doing,
tickets tomorrow.
depending on the game. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I love how people say, "Oh, it's up to 400." I guess I'll buy a ticket now. What?
Yeah.
20 million is not good enough. Just saying.
It's all good. I agree with that.
If it's fun, what the heck? So anyway, as far as getting ready to head out to work and school this morning, make sure you warm up the bus, warm up your car, because it's cold out there. Maybe just a speck of some mist here and there. I had some on my windshield. Now that was about 3 hours ago when I was coming into work. So most of it is gone. Nothing's really showing up on radar right now. And 45 after school today. That's it. Keep a coat handy all day long. This is the picture I was telling you about. These folks drove all the way from San Antonio up to Round Rock, where there was obviously a lot more snow, so they could make a snowman. And they did a fantastic job.
What a great idea to make the trip. Yeah.
That's a bit, what is that? That thing's at least a good 6 feet tall, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice looking snowman.
Yeah. Congratulations. Fantastic. I love that. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. And a lot of the folks had just a great time, even the little kids, 1 or 2 snowflakes, and kids just absolutely go nuts, which is always great to see. And that looks like the little sliver of the moon out there. So we are starting to see just a couple of the holes in the clouds, but we'll keep a lot of clouds around this morning and see a little bit more sunshine later on today. Wind chill temperatures. Oh, goodness gracious, bundle up. And this doesn't even take into account the extra moisture in the atmosphere. Of course, dew points are very, very low, but compared to the temperature, there's a lot of moisture, and that adds that bone chilling kind of factor to it. And that's why on a morning like this, it feels so much colder just because of that moisture in there than really, really dry air, which is actually a pretty good insulator. All right, we had some clear skies or dry air upstairs in the atmosphere, I should say. Now we've got a little bit more moisture hanging around here upstairs in the atmosphere. So what that means is that's going to keep some of the stubborn clouds around, but we will see a bit more in the way of some sunshine, like I said, later on today. There's the low clouds. Notice how the flow's coming in here out of the north. That's the low, which is still spinning in a counterclockwise direction, and a lot of snow well off to the east of us. So if you got any flights maybe going into Memphis, Nashville, further off to the east, may run into a little bit of a problem, and perhaps even going into Atlanta later on today. Big hub there, obviously. Now, off to the west, this is what's in store for us for the next couple of days. Nothing really out there. It's going to be beautiful the next couple of days. Everybody around the country is definitely on the colder side, with the exception down around the tip of Florida, and a lot of very cold air up here in the northern provinces of Canada, and that's going to start to push its way down in our direction and settle in over the Great Lakes as we go into the latter part of the week and even the first of next week, and that's going to keep us on the cool side. 40 degrees today at noon, mostly cloudy skies. High temperature only up to 45. We're going to be anywhere from 15-20 degrees below normal this afternoon. And then tomorrow, skies tonight will be clearing out, so that's going to set us up for a really cold morning tomorrow, down to 28, 53 for high temperature. Plenty of sunshine the rest of the week. The next front moves through, but notice on Friday there's not really any clouds out there at all. This thing's going to come through dry. It'll take temperatures from 67 down to 60 on Friday. Then the second front this week on Sunday, that one will squeeze out a couple of showers.
All right, good day for a car wash?
Probably so. Later on this afternoon, yes.
Okay, well, it'll be nice and cold.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. 621, 35 degrees out.
And it was a packed weekend for NFL games. After the break, we're going to see which teams are moving on in the playoffs and which ones are going home.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a medium coffee. Win with Circle K and GMSA.
Break free from 2020 and get moving at Planet Fitness in our clean and spacious clubs. Use our crowd meter for the best time to visit and our free app to get moving anywhere. America, your fitness is essential. Extended through January 15th. Join for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment.
Liz, you nerd, cough if you're in here.
I took Mucinex TM for my phlegmy cough.
What about Rob's dry cough?
Works on that too and lasts 12 hours.
12 hours? Who studies that long?
Mucinex DM relieves wet and dry coughs. The #1 brand doctors trust.
For skin that never holds you back, don't settle for silver. #1 for diabetic dry skin. #1 for psoriasis symptom relief. And #1 for eczema symptom relief. Gold Bond. Champion your skin.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. Yeah, we had some football this weekend, but we also had 2 Spurs games, a back-to-back Spurs and Timberwolves yesterday. The Silver and Blacks beat Minnesota in overtime on Saturday, but the Spurs last night, they were without DeMar DeRozan, the leading scorer. He was out for what's listed as personal reasons. There's also Derek White out. Several more weeks, in fact, with a toe injury. But don't worry, Lonnie Walker IV picking up the scoring slack. He had a season-high 25 points. LaMarcus Aldridge, he is back from that wrist injury. He had another 20 points, but not enough to contain the Timberwolves. Better shooting on threes and field goals. Well, Minnesota winning in round 2, 96-88. Don't worry, though, we are far from done with the season. The Spurs will end a 5-game road trip tomorrow. They are headed to Oklahoma City, playing the Thunder. Tip-off set for 7 p.m. tomorrow night. And I alluded to it. All right, some technical things going on. There we go. I alluded to it. We got pro football, an action-packed weekend in the NFL. The second day on yesterday. Let's see, we get any of these? 3 wildcard games. I could just talk about it if you want. Let's see, what are we doing here? There we go. We got the Tennessee Titans hosting the Baltimore Ravens. The Titans starting off strong. Former Aggie wide receiver and quarterback. It's a whole story. Ryan Tannehill leading the charge. Touchdown pass, A.J. Brown. But the rest of the game was the Ravens. Here he is, former MVP Lamar Jackson, 179 yards in the air. But really the highlights were on the ground, 136 yards rushing. Ravens winning big 20-13. Jackson had more rush yards than Tennessee's Derrick Henry, one of the most prolific runners in the game. Headed to the NFC Nickelodeon game. Yes, you heard that right. The NFL on Nickelodeon. Saints and Bears, the NFL partnering with Nickelodeon to bring in younger viewers. And there it is. Michael Thomas, first score of the game. He got slimed. Real head coach got really slimed later. But anyway, the Saints starting early, 11-yard touchdown. It wouldn't be Nickelodeon without that slime. Drew Brees, though, 265 yards, 21-9 win over the Chicago Bears after the game. Saints coach Sean Payton, he got actually slimed instead of a Gatorade shower. That one was for real. All right, we got Browns. Good luck to the Browns. Kind of a Cinderella story. Browns Steelers didn't start off well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 14 seconds into the game, bad snap over the head of Big Ben. Not a good omen. He's 6'5". It actually led to a touchdown for Cleveland. The Browns went up 21-0 before Steelers finally found the end zone. Wouldn't really matter, though. The Browns would go on to win 48-37. Big Ben, 501 yards, 4 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, too. We should mention that. Baker Mayfield, also 3 touchdowns for the Browns. The last time Cleveland had won a playoff game, Baker Mayfield wasn't even born yet. Now I feel old. Great. So, the NFL playoffs continue next weekend. Saturday, the Rams taking on the Packers, 3:30 in the afternoon in Green Bay. And 7:15, the Bills hosting the Ravens. Then on Sunday, we got a whole slate to talk about. The Chiefs, your defending champions, hosting the Browns, 2 in the afternoon. And the Saints, we're talking the Tampa Bay, get it, Tom in Tampa?
I get it.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 5:40. There we go. All right. In college football, we have the national championship tonight. Ohio State Buckeyes and the Alabama Crimson Tide playing for the top spot. Alabama last won the national championship in 2018. Ohio State and Zeke, the guy on the Cowboys, he won in 2015. Kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. tonight on ESPN. So there we go.
I like that, the guy on the Cowboys.
Guy on the Cowboys. Can't forget about them Cowboys.
No.
628, 35 degrees out.
And on our next half hour, we will get the latest on the coronavirus in our community and hear from a local doctor about vaccination efforts.
Bexar County having the highest number of COVID-19 cases in a single day. Good morning, I'm Sarah Acosta. Why local leaders are asking Governor Greg Abbott for more COVID-19 vaccines.
And taking a live look out at the Alamo City. I think we could see the moon there. Oh, look at
Pretty
that.
cool.
We're going to check in with Mike. We did just see Sarah wearing a beanie, so we could tell it's cold out. It's 35 degrees. What can we expect for the rest of the day? We saw some snow yesterday.
Yes, it was cold. I saw, I guess what Mike calls chunky rain. Good morning, by the way. It is Monday, January 11th. But some people actually got to build snowmen and have a snow fight.
Right. Mike was telling us some couple or family went up to Round Rock, built a snowman.
The KSAT Connect for sure we just showed last half hour. There's also one a little bit smaller snowman I'm going to show you coming up here in a minute. But yeah, they drove from San Antonio to Round Rock to build a snowman up there. And some portions of the hill country saw some snow. We had a little bit mixed in. Got a report around Seguin. There was some on the north side of Bexar County. There was a little bit yesterday. And some of that sleet mixed in with some of that cold rain. Right now, temperatures, and yes, by the way, that was, let me go back here and there's the sliver of the waning crescent moon. It's going to be a new moon coming up in just a couple of days, and that's the planet Venus in behind it. So obviously a few holes in the clouds, but I think we keep some stubborn clouds around a good chunk of the day, and then we'll continue to have them sort of break up. Wow. Want to play the lottery? Pick 37. Temperature everywhere off to the, I'm going to have to do that. Wind chill, though, 29 here in town, 27 Kerrville and 30 in New Braunfels. And just enough of a breeze to really add that bite to some of these temperatures. Mountain Cedar, the updated count is going to be coming out in about 45 minutes. It is on the high side from yesterday's reading. Mold is moderate. And throughout the day, morning, mostly cloudy skies. I saw a speck of mist this morning, so maybe a speck or two here and there. And then later on today, partly cloudy skies. Staying cold, only 45 degrees for a high temperature. So we're going to be anywhere from 15 to 20 below normal. And then the rest of the week, overall chilly. Tomorrow morning is going to be even colder, and then it just stays on the colder side throughout the rest of the week. Details in just a couple of minutes. And if you're getting ready to hit the roads, warm up the car and no accidents.
No,
what's going on,
no accidents. We do have a stall here, Mike, here on the southwest side at 410 at 35. It looks like that's going to be clearing here shortly. Let's take a look at some travel times from the region. You're coming in from 37 from Pleasanton on 37, 27 minutes. A lot of sevens there. 30 minutes from 281 north from Bulverde. 26 minutes into downtown San Antonio from New Braunfels. 24 minutes from Bernie. And here's a look at TransGuide. If you're traveling downtown area 35 at Alamo, there's a bit of police activity, so we'll check on that. But that's something to watch out for this morning. Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. To the pandemic, it is the highest number of COVID-19 cases Bexar County has ever seen in a single day. Our Sarah Acosta joins us live this morning to break down the numbers and how city leaders are asking the state for more vaccines. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Stephanie. And these are the highest numbers we've seen in Bexar County. And as these numbers continue to go up, despite the vaccine rollout, which has been a slow one across Texas and Bexar County. According to Metro Health, as of yesterday, Bexar County saw the highest number of COVID-19 cases in a single day, reporting 3,002 new cases. Over the last 7 days, Bexar County has seen nearly 12,000 new cases. The 7-day moving average is now 1,694. 31 people died this past week, and with 55 backlog deaths, the death toll sits at 1,648 people who have died from COVID-19. As for the hospitalization rate, 1,407 people remain in the hospital. That's up 8 since the previous report. Yesterday, Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf penned a letter to Governor Greg Abbott requesting more COVID-19 vaccines for Bexar County as soon as possible. Nirenberg said the community's eagerness to get vaccinated, paired with the community's underlying health conditions like diabetes, make the county an ideal location for additional COVID-19 vaccine doses. In the letter, it states, quote, Bexar County's infrastructure includes geographically balanced sites capable of administering thousands of vaccines daily while ensuring effectiveness and equity, end quote. Now, according to the mayor, 26,000 appointments for mass vaccination events were filled up almost immediately over the weekend. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, it seems like more and more people are getting vaccinated. The city is starting their vaccinations at the Alamo Dome later this morning. With more opportunities come more questions. This weekend on Leading SA, Dr. Brian Alsip, the chief medical officer with University Health, he joined Sarah Costa and myself live. He did say, as far as the numbers of vaccine doses go, well, we are not where we'd like to be as a country, a state, and a community. But the doctor and us, we also discussed how long it would take for the vaccine to actually become effective. Take a listen.
Well, it takes about 2 weeks for the initial effect to kick in. That's about how long it takes for your antibodies to develop after exposure to the vaccine. But it's really important to get that second dose because, that's what creates the entire amount of efficacy against COVID, the disease we're trying to fight.
We did have a lot of viewers call in and ask when they can get their shot. So as far as availability for new doses go, the doctor told us it all depends on when more vaccines are allocated to our area. He says that we can only open slots with the vaccine that we have and that we're really just waiting on it. Now, you can find the full interview right now. Just head to KSAT.com.
This morning, President-elect Joe Biden says he is nominating William Burns to be his CIA director. Burns is a former ambassador to Russia and Jordan and spent 33 years in the State Department working for both Republican and Democratic presidents. He has been in charge of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace since 2014. Burns has been highly critical of President Donald Trump's foreign policy decisions and also wrote an essay back in August about the dangerous consequences of President Trump not accepting election results.
And in the House, Democrats are pushing to remove President Donald Trump from office. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, planning to introduce a resolution today that would call on Vice President Mike Pence and the president's cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment. That would start the process to force President Trump from office and make Vice President Pence the 46th president of the United States. Speaker Pelosi says the vice president will have 24 hours to respond before they move forward with another impeachment process against President Trump.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is also asking Democrats for their input on using part of the 14th Amendment. Under the U.S. Constitution, it allows representatives to remove other members of Congress if they violated their oath by engaging in, quote, insurrection or rebellions or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof, end quote. Representative Cori Bush of Missouri tweeted that she plans to introduce a resolution today to expel members of Congress for violating that amendment. She went on to say, quote, we can't truly have unity without accountability, end quote.
And the U.S. Capitol Police have a new acting chief. Chief Pittman will succeed Stephen Sund, who stepped down following Wednesday's insurrection at the Capitol. She will be the first woman to serve in that position. The Capitol Police say Pittman led the security efforts in the 2013 presidential inauguration of President Barack Obama.
Meanwhile, some major corporations are rethinking political donations after the Capitol riot. The Wall Street Journal reports that J.P. Morgan, Chase, and Citigroup are pausing all donations to political action committees. And Marriott and Blue Cross Blue Shield say they are pausing donations to lawmakers who challenge the Electoral College count. The Washington Post reports that could impact 139 Republican representatives and 8 Republican senators, including Senator Ted Cruz of Texas.
And the Professional Golf Association says next year's championship will not take place at a New Jersey golf course owned by President Donald Trump. The PGA says holding the event there would damage their brand. The association has yet to give a replacement location. The Trump Organization has responded in a statement saying the decision to pull the championship from the Trump National Golf Course is a, quote, breach of a binding contract, end quote, and the PGA does not have the right to terminate it.
Indonesian officials are intensifying the search for the black box of a crashed airplane that just outside of the capital. That crash happening on Saturday, presumably killing all 62 people on board. The Boeing 737-500 jet nose dived about 30 minutes after takeoff. Officials say that black box will be taken back to the Capitol when found. More than 2,600 rescue personnel have been searching nonstop over the weekend, and some parts of the wreckage have been found.
Time now, 6:41, 35 degrees out.
And women are making strides in STEM fields, but after the break, we're going to see how the pandemic could have a negative impact on those careers, just as women are beginning to close the gap.
basically like an electrical nose.
Fallon Harad has had a nose for technology since her mom bought the family's first computer.
I was the only one in the house that could fix it.
What she didn't know was that her love of computers could lead to a career. Professor Martha Snyder says we need to encourage more young women to pursue a career in STEM.
There are probably 1 in 5 technical roles being filled by women today.
But due to the pandemic, women are walking away from their STEM careers. A new report reveals women in tech were 1.5 times more likely to feel burdened by having to care for children. 72% said they are now struggling with childcare, and while nearly 60% of women say their family responsibilities have increased due to COVID-19, 40% of women say they feel the need to be more productive when working from home. Experts fear the strides women have been making may be pushed back at least a decade. Akhila Nandakumar is not letting the pandemic discourage her. After earning her master's degree in management information systems, she'll return to India to be a role model for young girls there.
Even if you have that bit of interest in technology, I think we should encourage them to explore it.
And Fallon, who is a software engineer, is creating better software for students to learn math.
I wanted the challenge.
Creating a path to success for women in STEM that even a pandemic cannot detour.
Work hard, be persistent, be curious, and never be afraid.
Although men in high-tech jobs average salaries of $73,000 to women $65,300, a gap of 11%, women in STEM still receive higher pay on average, 35% more than women in other careers, and 40% more than men working in non-STEM jobs. Erica Fernandez, KSAT 12 News.
All right, well, back here at home, you showing off the earrings one more time before we go? There we go.
Yeah, I didn't get to build a snowman, but I mean, we did see some sleet.
Yeah, that meant some dangerous roads possibly yesterday, but this morning, Samuel, looks like all green on the screen.
Yeah, things are pretty good here, but still up in the Austin area, especially north of downtown, there is some icy roads, some closures up there. So if you're heading that way today, just keep that in mind. But here in San Antonio, things are looking okay. Let's look at 281 between 1604 and downtown, 12 minutes each direction, so things are flowing pretty smoothly there. We mentioned this last week, but it's official. Gas prices are up over $2 a gallon across the state, but still here in Bexar County, they're at $1.90 a gallon. At $2 a gallon, according to the AAA, has been that way since below $2 a gallon since last March. So that's the first time that's over $2 a gallon. The longest stretch we've had below $2 a gallon since 2005. And take a look at TransGuide, 1604 looking well, as does I-10 at Callahan. So things are looking okay. Traffic is picking up a little bit though, guys.
Very good.
You need to get
a real
close-up
snowman
of your earrings and then put it up next to this little guy.
Yeah, that's a real snowman.
Because
right
they said enough snow to make this little guy there in New Braunfels, and I don't know how big the cap is or anything, but hey, great little snowman. Love that. Perfect. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to see yesterday. And as a matter of fact, some folks around the area did see, obviously, some snow. These are measurements coming in from the National Weather Service. And I know there were a lot of folks that did maybe see a little bit in your backyard, but this is what was reported. Bernie, right around 1 inch, half an inch around Canyon Lake. And of course, the lion's share was up here around Austin and north of there. And of course, some folks from posted a picture last half hour from San Antonio, drove up to Round Rock to make a nice big snowman. Rain was wonderful. Yes, it was a cold rain, but a lot of folks picked up some decent amounts. San Antonio, just over 0.8 of an inch, almost an inch in Seguin, 3/4 of an inch Gonzales, and New Braunfels about 1.25 inches. So that was wonderful to see. Speaking of wonderful, wow, things have really cleared out a lot quicker than expected. We've got the moon and we've got Venus out there. Still a couple of clouds hanging around here. By the way, forecast high today is 45 degrees. Go back to last day of the year on New Year's Eve. We only got up to 46, and of course we had about half an inch of rain or so. And even back, remember that day back in October, we only stayed at 45 degrees. So if we stay at 45, we're going to tie for the coldest this season for a high temperature. So far, the coldest it's ever stayed. Now, tomorrow is going to be even colder, of course, well down into the 20s. We do have a wind chill right now, 30 in Tarpley, 29 at the airport Randolph, and 26 in Bernie Stage is the wind chill. We had a couple of little leftover sprinkly showers earlier this morning as this loops on through right there that moved on through. Also, take note that here's the little bit of clearing that we're seeing right there. You can see that little clear patch right there, but we still do have some clouds hanging around, so I don't think that is going to last all that long. The storm system that gave us snow, sleet, cold rain, that's continuing to work its way off to the east, and that will continue to move off to the east of us. And then that's what's in store for us off there to the west, is nothing but a lot of clear skies. But we are going to be staying. We're going to keep basically a north to northwesterly flow aloft in the atmosphere for the rest of the week, and so that's going to keep us on the cool side. Yes, we will get up to the mid-upper 60s by Thursday, but that will last only a day. 40 today at noon, mostly cloudy skies, and as I mentioned, 45 for a high temperature today, about 16, 17 degrees below normal. Should be right around 62 degrees, and then later on tonight we clear on out, and 28 tomorrow morning, 32 Wednesday morning, 53 tomorrow, finally getting up to a normal high on Wednesday, a little bit above that Thursday, but we get a front moving through Thursday, comes through without any fanfare at all. It's going to be dry, and then maybe a couple of showers Sunday.
But wow, 28 tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Super cold.
Yes.
All right.
We'll prepare.
Thank you, Mike. 6:50.
Oh yeah.
35 degrees out.
These are the snowman earrings.
There we go.
Thank you, Dawn.
Feeling festive this morning.
Yes, appropriately in the 30s this morning.
Yeah, 28 tomorrow. Ooh, that's rough.
Bundle up.
All right.
And coming up, we all make countless decisions a day, but since the pandemic started, the decisions we are making now seem more daunting than ever before, and now more people are experiencing something called decision fatigue. Join us tomorrow on GMSA to learn more about that.
And before we head to break, a look outside. Gorgeous shot of the sunrise, and you get to see the moon like Mike pointed out.
That is pretty.
It's cold, but it's pretty out there.
Yeah, enjoy.
We'll be right back.
Good Monday morning coming up here on GMA. Some new fallout for President Trump this morning after that siege at the Capitol. Democrats are making plans to move forward with an unprecedented second impeachment. And this morning, there is a nationwide manhunt for those involved in the siege, and that is intensifying. Dozens have already been arrested. Our powerhouse political and legal teams are tracking all of this, and we'll bring it to you right here on GMA.
In the news you need to know before you go, a woman was killed last night after police say she was trying to cross a street. It happened around 10:30 last night at the intersection of West Avenue and Trudell, just south of Loop 410 on the city's north side. Police say the woman in her 60s was crossing a dark part of that road when she was hit by a person driving a pickup truck. Police say that driver did not see the woman until it was too late and is not facing any charges because that driver pulled over, and the woman was pronounced dead at the scene, though.
All right, 35 degrees out there now. We saw some sleet on the roads yesterday, but how's things looking now?
Things looking fine across the area right now. No major incidents at the moment. Taking a look at some drive times, 26 minutes in from New Braunfels, 29 minutes on I-10 from Seguin, 24 minutes on I-10 from Bernie. And taking a look at TransGuide right now, 10 at Woodlawn looks okay, and as well as 90 at Zarzamora and 35 at Cesar Chavez, all looking fine this morning. Mike?
We've got a beautiful sunrise, and moonrise right now. There's the little sliver of a moon, the waning crescent moon, and Venus right behind it. Some clear skies temporarily. Notice there are some clouds, though, off in the distance. This is a little bit of a hole in the clouds, and I think we keep some around throughout the day. 32 right now in Bulverde, Bernie Stage. There's a wind chill out there, and a high today of only 45.
We will bundle up. Quick shout out to viewer Michael Jimenez. Happy birthday, and bundle up, guys. We'll see you back here at 9.